We're back. Uh, Poltergeist. So I've been riding a lot on the trail, and yeah. Before we get into Bach Goes to Budapest, I was thinking a lot about, when you make a move, like a career move, like from away from something that seems like it has relative security, to something a little bit more, less well defined, like being your own boss and taking on a bunch of different projects and all of that. You have to deal with your own doubts about, like, oh, did I make the right move, and what do other people think of the move that I made, and all of that kind of stuff. But anyway, I came across this guy who was homeless in small world. He was a graduate of the school where my wife teaches currently, and he was telling me about some of his work stuff and things he had seen, and I started thinking a little bit more about careers, and I wrote this thing down, and I read it because it seems to me it's like a mission statement, and this is like a careers, kind of like a careers vlog. It turns out that career happiness is about a lot more than chasing a paycheck. It's about knowing your passion and how well your career allows you to express it. And I'm starting to think that I'm onto something. It sounds very cliche, and I don't know. I'm sure it's, when I read it, I was like, are these are my words? But obviously, this is a sentiment that you read all the time in those like life coaching, self-help things. But anyway, I wrote down and I thought, yeah, that kind of sums up where I am right now and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Thank you, anyone, and everyone who has subscribed. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the support, and I appreciate that you're tuning in and adding your comments and adding to the conversation. I really like it. Anyway, a new friend, acquaintance, he took the coaching course with me down in Flushing at Sydney's club. Jose, hello, and he said thanks for mentioning him in one of those earlier episodes, and it reminded me of something that I kind of forgot. And Jose, please back me up when people ask, is that true? So we were riding, if you'll recall, I'll just tell you if you don't recall, to see episode 2, that it was Jose and this guy Miguel from Mexico. Hey Miguel, if you're checking in at all. And there was a third passenger whose name was George, and George apparently is a former Nigerian diplomat. He had asked for a ride. He lived in Mount Vernon. He wasn't going to come to the club with us, but we were going to hop off the Hutchinson River Parkway. I was going to pull off and drop him off in Mount Vernon and hop right back on the Hutch and get up to Pleasantville, to the Westchester Center, Tableton Center. So we got off, and we come into this busy intersection, and the light was red, and there were a bunch of cars behind us. But I pulled off, and George opened the door, but then the light turned green. So he said, "Why don't we just pull across the intersection? And you can pull over into that near the gas station or whatever." And so he shut the door. But what I didn't know was, and I didn't, because of my mind was on saying goodbye to George, was that in the back seat, Miguel was simultaneously opening his door to get out, and I didn't hear a second door close. But when I took off to go through the green light and pull over, apparently I completely abandoned Miguel, and I'll say, I'm not. Next time, object or let me know, because when we got across the intersection, George opened the door, and I could see out of the side view mirror that Miguel was running up the car. I was like, what? Where did he come from, and what's he doing? I was mortified that I accidentally left him there, and probably scared him. But anyway, it was like a comedy of errors. Shakespeare, yeah. Anyway, second bit of feedback from Caroline, my old friend Caroline from Pearson, and we're kindred spirits. She's, I think, back at Pearson. I'm going to find this out. They're going to come for lunch. She said her husband Dimitri, when he heard that I had a table in the basement, said we got to get over there. I'm paraphrasing, but so they're going to come. And please, guys, remind me. I want to do this new thing where people sign the base of the table. Anyone who kind of plays can get a Sharpie and sign the base. I'm kind of think that's going to be fun. So I'm looking forward to that. Dimitri is a photographer. Caroline's husband, Dimitri, is a photographer. He did the series on Newburgh, so I'm interested to hear what's new there or what other new projects they're working on. And then, moving on. This morning, it's parenthetical, Mom, but I wanna talk about it a little bit. My daughter Marley was going off to school. Marley, forgive me if you didn't want me to talk about this. She was in a musical recently. I told you she's a very gifted singer, and among other gifts, that skipped a generation, including like organization and study skills and all of this kind of stuff. She's right on top of it. Her mom helps her stay that way. She pulled out of I don't know if it was in her backpack. She pulled this out and said, when I went upstairs, could I bring this up? It's a piece of the seaweed from apparently from the set of the Little Mermaid musical that she did. She was Flounder. She was fantastic. Her friend was Ariel. She had another friend who's a Mersister. She's got really talented friends, But anyway, when she gave me this and said, "Yeah, I found this and I wanted to keep it part of the set," I said, "This girl is a chip off the old Internet of Things block. Keeping little mementos of the roadmap that have a little bit of sentimental value and take you back." And anyway, it led to kind of and this only happens with music people, I guess, people who really love music. I called it kelp, and then all of a sudden we that came into a impromptu thing about making it like help the Beatles, kelp, and then we had this kind of duet, and it was fun. It was a nice way to start the morning, Marley. I really enjoyed that. Right. So Mom, sorry about that. I just wanted to bring my family in, to my work. I'm trying to blend things here with my new career. Nenad is also, I'm sure, getting a little fidgety, because I said, to be continued, and I called, as a teaser, this episode, Bach Goes to Budapest, and that's, so I should have also mentioned him in the feedback. He said, I got a notification that he's now subscribing, so welcome, Nenad. And I got a nice call from him yesterday. He said that he was enjoying the vlog. He had seen it, he thought it was funny. And he also said that he liked the pronunciation vlog. So this is interesting because, if enough people like that pronunciation, it's potentially like a tipping point between like what is yesterday's news, like the vlog, and what is the future, maybe that's the vlog, which is, no longer, holding people to the rules of digression. Anyway, nice call from him. He invited me to a Parkinson's meeting that was held last night, and that was interesting. And then we got to play later on, and it was just as I was telling you in the episode that I most recently put up, part 1 of how I got started with Ping Pong Parkinson's. We had our epic signature volleys and just had a really good time playing. And he told me about the hat. And there's a correction on this, so I have to correct it. He said it's not black; it's actually a blue hat. But usually, in my defense, I'm usually 30 feet away when I see him walking in to the club with the hat, and then he goes probably and gets changed, and usually I'm playing off in the distance, and I just see the hat. So black, blue, I mean, it's Apparently it's blue. And he said that this is, and you got, if you're interested in the Internet of Things and Nenad, go and check on some of the things that he's been involved in, the musical projects and the people. He's clearly, one of those people who, he's in on a lot of things and meets a lot of people, and, he was showing me some of his pictures and some of the early renditions of the hat, and apparently it was for a publicity thing that he was doing for a music project, and then it stuck ever since. Now, and this is maybe a little bit of a digression, maybe not. Funny thing that he mentioned last night is that he has a pet rabbit, and the pet rabbit apparently yesterday or the day before Nenad, you can correct the record if it needs it, took some nibbles out of the hat. He showed me a picture, and the rabbit was like somehow getting, finding it appetizing and pleasing. You just never know with these critters, the gastronomy part of it.